Hey archery friends, this is Tara. Today we're actually going to go over how to put a bow together straight from the box. I'm also going to show you all the different tools that you're going to need. I'll show you how to string the bow properly and how to put that knock set on, arrow rest, and get everything up and running. So when you first get your box, it's going to look something like this. You're going to have inside, you're going to have your riser. You're going to get your set of limbs. You'll have a string, and in a little bag they're going to send you an arrow rest and a little knock set there. You'll also actually in there get a guide on how to put the bow together. So I'm pretty much going to go through this guide and I'm going to do it all for you, so if you're more of a visual person, you're going to see how it all looks. So I have everything out of the bags, and this is going to be your riser. These are your limbs. A lot of people's first question is, which way do the limbs go? Which is the upper limb, which is the lower limb? On these basic bows, this is this Galaxy. It's really easy because they will typically write the weight and the length of the bow on the bottom limb, and you'll know that it's correct if you can read it correctly. If it's upside down, the wording's upside down, then you know that you have the limbs on upside down. All right, so what we're gonna do is you're gonna take the riser and then take the limb and just stick it here in the pocket. This has the wording on it, so I'm putting that on the bottom limb. It's just gonna fit right in there. And all you're gonna do is take that bolt and just screw it in. To pick out the right string, typically when you buy a bow, they're gonna send you a string with it, so you're not gonna have to figure out what you're ordering. It'll say right here on the packaging, this that we're putting together, this is a 62-inch bow, so it'll say 62-inch bow. And then it's gonna also tell you the number of strands in the string. So every string has a different number of strands. It's important to know this because this is going to make a difference depending on the knock size. The knock is what is going to attach to the string from the arrow when you start shooting. So you wanna make sure that you get either the right strand size or the right knock size, so that way everything fits together properly. Me personally, with all my kids classes and adult classes that I teach, I order the same type of knocks, and I have for a long time. So I know for me, the 12-strand string works really well with the bows that I'm shooting. So I always try to opt for the 12-strand string. You're gonna know right away if that string is gonna fit your knock size. If the knock, when you put it on the string, is really really snug and tight, and it doesn't come off very easily, it's probably just a little bit too tight. If you are placing the knock on the string and it's just falling right off, or it's not clicking in, then either A, the knock is too big, or your string, you don't have enough strands in the string. So you kind of just are gonna have to pick, do you wanna change your knock size? Do you wanna change the strand of your string? Once you figure out what you need, then it's easy from there on out. But when you first start shooting, you're gonna have to figure your knock string combo, okay? So this, like I said, this is a 62-inch string, and this has 12 strands in it. Now I'm gonna show you how to actually string the bow. I have a stringer, so that way you can see what it looks like with the actual stringer. To string the bow, it's gonna be important, you're gonna look at the loops on the string. One loop will be a little bit bigger than the other loop. Okay, so if you can see right here, the one on this side is bigger than the one on this side. You are always going to take the bigger loop and place it on the top limb, because this is where you're gonna be stringing the bow from the top upper limb. The bottom loop, let me show you here, will always go, the smaller loop will always go on the bottom limb. And the reason why is we are going to just place it here right over the notch. The notch is here on the limb. You can see that. And we're never gonna string or unstring it from this one. So that one's smaller because that one's just gonna stay on the notch. This loop is bigger because this is gonna move up and down so we can string the bow. For the bow stringer, you are actually going to have a stringer, and the stringer will have a bigger pocket and a smaller pocket. This is going to determine where you put it on the bow. The bigger pocket is gonna go over the bottom limb. And the reason why is, like I just told you, we're never string or unstring from the bottom limb. So this is going to cover the whole limb. So you are not even going to see the string on the notch. It's covering the notch. The smaller pocket is going to go on the upper limb. And as you can start to figure out why, is we actually want to see the notch. So see here how you can see the notch? Because we actually need to bring this string over the notch to get it strung. All right, so now we're actually ready to string the bow. We have the smaller pocket on the top limb. We have the bigger pocket on the bottom limb covering the notch, so that way the string doesn't come undone. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna take your dominant hand, you're gonna place it on the handle, on the riser here. And then what you're gonna do is I take my dominant leg and I step on the string. And as I pull the riser up towards me, you're gonna take the other hand and you're just gonna slide the string down right over the notch. It's gonna go just like that. Now, if you want to go ahead and unstring the bow, same idea. You're gonna take that dominant hand. I place my hand right in the grip position here, and I pull the riser up towards me, and that loosens everything, so it can come right back down the limb. Moving on, we now have left, we're gonna put the arrow rest on, and we're also gonna put the nock on. For the arrow rest, just in my experience, what I found is a lot of times they will send this arrow rest. Okay, here's the arrow rest, and here's the nock. This particular rest, for some reason, it just always falls off. It's not sticky enough. So I've always loved Hoyt, and Hoyt makes two different rests that are awesome. They make the Hoyt Hunter rest. Let me show it to you here. And then they also make the Hoyt Super Rests. The Hoyt Super Rest is great. It's really nice. In my beginner classes, I just noticed that the hook on it wears more, and I like to have the hook on there so the arrow stays on the rest a little better for my beginners. So for me, I will usually choose the Hoyt Hunter rest because it's really durable and it sticks really well to the bow, and it lasts a long time. So either one, they're both great. This is long lasting just because I have people shooting my bows constantly every single day. All right, so to put it on, it's really simple. All you're gonna do is, there's actually a little circle sticky here. This is where if you were to put a plunger on your bow, this is where it would go. We are not gonna use a plunger. We're just doing a basic bow setup today. So all we're gonna do is, both sides are sticky. So you're gonna take one of the sticky sides here, and you're just gonna place it on the back. You're gonna line it up so the circles line up. You're gonna place it on the back of the arrow rest. And then on the back side, you're gonna peel that, so that way we can place that on the bow. All right, so all you're gonna do is, you see where the little hole is? This is where you could put a plunger. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay it right on top of there so it all lines up. And what you need to make sure with these basic bows is, this basic bow setup, is you just gonna make sure it lines up nice and straight. It's gonna look just like this. All right? So the last thing that we're gonna do is we are going to place on the nock. You wanna make sure you get it on there so that the arrow's coming out straight, so that it's set up nice and straight. So we're actually gonna use a couple tools here. We are gonna use the nocking pliers, and we're also gonna use this, it's called a T-square, bow square, to help line everything up. Now, I already have everything marked for me personally where I like things set up. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna lay it on top of the rest, and then you're gonna hook this onto the string. It's gonna sit right there on the rest. Okay, so it looks just like this. And then I see where center is, and I go just above the center. If you were to start tuning and shooting arrows and you're noticing that your bear shaft is going really high or really low, it could mean that you're off a little bit, and you can move that up and down. Also, what you're gonna notice is when you first get a new string on your bow, it's going to stretch a little bit. So when you string it, the first few times, I'm gonna show you how to check to see if you'll know if the string stretched and how much it stretched based off of the brace height. And I'm gonna show you that in just a second here, but let me get the nock set on here. Okay, so I'm just gonna clamp it down with the nocking pliers. And it is pretty close to being where I like it. And like I said, it could change a little bit up and down as I get the bow all set up and put together. What I want to talk to you about is brace height. Brace height is the distance between the inside of the grip here and your string. On the bows that we're shooting, it recommends, it'll say in the pamphlet that you get, I think somewhere between 7 3/4 and 8 1/4 is a recommended manufacturer brace height for this bow. So I'm gonna go right here, I'm right at 8 1/4. So we'll keep it as is. But what you're gonna notice is when you start shooting, and it's a new string, you will start to notice that the string stretches a little bit. So that is going to affect, that's gonna change your brace height. Every time you come to practice, you always wanna make sure you have the same brace height. If you have a different brace height, it's gonna change kind of the tune of the bow, how the arrows are flying out, and the arrows are gonna go in different spots. Your groups are gonna start to change. So you always wanna make sure that you find a brace height that you like, that you get good tight groups, and keep that same brace height. So every time you come to practice and you string your bow, make sure you have your T-square, your bow square, and check and make sure it's the same brace height. Now you've put together your first bow.